So if you're living in Jacksonville and you're just stuck with persistent pain, you know how hard it can be to find a real solution. Today, we're going to look at a clinic that's built this incredible reputation for doing just that, the East Coast Injury Clinic. Let's dig into what makes them stand out. But first, let's start with a question that really hits home. Because this kind of pain, it isn't just a simple annoyance, right? I mean, it gets into everything: your work, your focus, your ability to just enjoy a simple day. It's this constant background noise, and the real goal is to finally turn it off for good.
So, what's their secret sauce? What makes their approach so different? Well, it all comes down to this philosophy of whole person healing. And that just means they look beyond the one spot that hurts. They're trying to understand the entire ecosystem of your health. You know, how your spinal health connects to your stress, your sleep, even how you move every day.
And this slide really puts it all into perspective. You've got two paths here. On one side, you have basic symptom management, which, it's kind of like putting a piece of tape over your car's check engine light. It masks the problem, but it doesn't fix it. On the other side, you have this whole person care that aims to correct the underlying cause for lasting wellness. It's about finding a permanent solution, not just a temporary fix.
And look, this isn't some one-size-fits-all approach either. They apply this really comprehensive view to a huge range of needs, helping all sorts of people from all different walks of life.
I mean, just look at this list. We're talking about everyone from athletes trying to get that extra edge and recover faster to expecting moms who need safe, specialized care. They're also a trusted provider for folks injured on the job, helping them get back to work safely. It's really a resource for the entire community, from kids to adults.
Now, when you serve that many people, you'd expect to have a pretty solid reputation. But what we're seeing here points to something way beyond just solid. It points to this incredible level of community trust. So, how do you even measure that trust? Well, let's start with a number: 483. By itself, it doesn't mean much, but the context, well, that's where it gets really powerful. That's right. 483 5-star Google reviews. And think about that for a second. This isn't some internal survey. These are real patients who had such a positive experience that they took time out of their day to go online and tell everyone about it. But here's the part that really made me do a double take. Out of almost 500 people, the average score isn't a 4.8 or a 4.9, which would already be amazing. No, it's a perfect 5.0. Getting a perfect rating with that many reviews is, it's almost unheard of. It just speaks volumes about how consistent they are and how committed they are to every single person who walks through their door. So the big question is, how on earth do they do it? Well, it all comes down to some serious expertise. We're talking about a team of licensed, board-certified chiropractors who have decades of clinical experience between them. And they're not just resting on their laurels either. They're constantly learning, staying on the cutting edge with advanced training to make sure your care is based on the absolute latest and safest methods. Okay, so they've got the skills, that's clear. But expertise doesn't mean much if you can't get in the door. So let's look at how they tackle the practical stuff, the things that usually stop people from getting the help they need. This, right here, is a game changer. They start you off with a complimentary consultation. That means you get to meet them, talk about your situation, and understand all the costs before you commit to anything. It just takes all that financial guesswork and anxiety right off the table from day one. And they tackle the cost issue head on. They've got everything from discounted rates if you're paying cash to prepaid packages and flexible payment plans. The message is pretty clear. Money shouldn't be the reason you have to live in pain. And finally, there's convenience. They're right there in Deerwood Park, so they're easy to get to, and they really respect your time. We're talking minimal wait times and even same-day appointments if you're in a really bad spot. All right, so you've heard all this and you're thinking, okay, I'm interested. So what happens next? What does it actually look like to get started? Well, they've made the whole process incredibly clear and simple. It really just boils down to these 3 steps. First, you make that call for the no-pressure free consultation. From there, they'll do a really thorough exam to get to the bottom of what's actually going on. And then, you get a treatment plan that's built from the ground up, just for you. So if you're ready to take that first step, here is all the info you need to get in touch. You can give them a call to set up that consultation, check out their website for more details, or head over to their office in Deerwood Park. And that brings us to the final thought here. After looking at how they work,
the incredible trust they've built, and all the people they help. The question really comes back to you. I want you to just take a second and really think about it. What could you do? What could you accomplish if pain wasn't holding you back anymore?